you starting the show or what? It just got quiet all the time. Anybody want to buy tickets for the next recital? On your Instagram. They make us buy the tickets on the top. 25. So if you have a problem, you just don't join it. Okay? Yeah.
Keep on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We have been gone for a while, but we are busy. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, it is we, the Shop DMV on WMSK Online Radio, almost Cheryl Underwood Morning Show. Yes, we are back. And guess what we're going to start with today? Monet the Greatest back, y'all. 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 Monet the Great. Let's go.
I forgot I was gone. I was like, what's happening here? Hello. All right. So in this week's moment, hold on, I gotta get my notes. The ransomware attack that had the city of Baltimore under siege for about 3 weeks has finally been resolved. It is estimated that the ransomware attack cost the city of Baltimore $18.2 million. Woo! That is a lot of money.
Big bank.
At this point in time, the city and the new mayor are working as hard as they can to get the city back where they need to be. The city's information technology office has spent $4.6 million on recovery efforts since the attack struck on May 7th, and expects to spend an additional $5.4 million by the end of the year. The other $8.2 million impact is from potential loss or delay of revenue, such as money from property tax, real estate, and bonds. Jesse Smollett's trial.
They don't have.
I know. I gotta bring it up though. So the decided last week that they would release the paperwork from the trial and, give you all the ins and outs of what happened in the courtroom. The judge said since Smollett had no problem going on Good Morning America and pleading his case as well as parading in front of the media as often as possible, there's no need to seal the case. So this afternoon, all 400 pages were released. I'll listen to the blog to see what's the important part. I'm not reading 400 pages. I'll say that now.
I know, I'm trying to get the dirt.
I just want to know what went down.
What's the
team? Robert Kelly has been
As an R. Kelly?
as an R. Kelly. I was in the car on the way here and Honey Love came on and I did not turn it off. I sang all the words. But I never said I was muting him, but whatever. He has 11 more charges against him in the city of Chicago. I don't know if I hope it works out for him, if I hope it works out for them. I don't really know what I want to happen with him. Robert Mueller, the special investigator against the president, spoke out yesterday as he officially stepped down as the special investigator. Mueller did say that if you read his report, he gave all the information that is necessary for the politicians to do what they think is best. He did not in any way say that Trump was not guilty of collusion with the Russians in election tampering, but he did say that it's in the Constitution that you cannot actually arrest a sitting president. So it is up to Congress and the Senate to start the impeachment process, but that is on them because he is officially over. The NBA Finals starts tonight. The Toronto Raptors and the Golden City Warriors. Who you got? Golden State. Golden State.
I ain't gonna say it. I know it's gonna be Golden State, but goddamn, it's time for somebody else to get a chance at the throne.
Golden State.
My son told me we're going with the Raptors.
You.
I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I'm a Knicks fan.
I'm a Knicks fan too.
One day we're gonna get it together. I know. One day we're gonna get back to our glory.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan.
I don't know. Lamar Odom's book came out, and he's been doing his media circuit, and it seems like he's been telling everything that's in the book, so there's no point in actually reading it. He stated in the book that when he was on the Olympic team, that he used a prosthetic penis to pass his drug test. He talks about how Khloe Kardashian beat up a stripper when she came to their house.
I don't mean to cut you off, but can you explain?
So, look, this is all I know. I'm not sure how that goes down. So he had some type of prosthesis that looked like a penis that I guess had the hole in it. So when the guy watched him pee, it looked like he was actually peeing, but it was a fake one that I guess had somebody else's urine in it.
Okay.
That's that big money.
That's amazing. He could have just,
Call somebody else out of the office, like,
yeah.
who's on the pee?
Right.
He didn't want to take it to his leg.
I've heard of people taking it to their legs.
On the same one.
Right. I can't walk around with somebody else's pee on my body. That's just not going
Splash. Wash that leg.
Y'all depend on it, please.
Well, yeah, but I said no jokes a long time ago. And last but probably least, but it was the most recent thing that's going on. Everyone knows that Star was canceled after this season, and there was a petition that went around, and I think it got about 1,500 signatures to have Star come back. Lee Daniels announced today that he is in fact fighting for Star to come back on the air, whether it be with Fox or another studio. People are saying that Star was only canceled because it came on after Empire and people stopped watching Empire due to Jussie Smollett. Though Empire got another season, they only got another season because you have to have at least 100 episodes to go into syndication. And this last season, they would get to 100 episodes. So that's the only reason that Empire was not canceled this year. And that's all I've got for my moment.
All right, y'all. The moment is back. I guess they didn't want the 4-on-1.
That's a bootleg joke.
That's a bootleg.
So, we've been missing for about 2 weeks. We were on vacation then. But I want to say we missed Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of the shop and the mothers out there in DMV and across the world. Happy Mother's Day. Also, Monet the Great graduated. We missed that as well.
Where's the horn?
Also, Monet the Great son graduated.
Those times, it's a party.
I tried so hard not to cry. It did not work out well. I cried on the way there. I cried on the way there. I cried when he walked down the steps to go sit with the class. I cried when the principal said it was time to say the graduate's name. I cried when he got up on the stage. I cried when they moved the tablet from one side to the left. And then like I was sitting right on the steps and he was coming back up and his last name was Walton. So he was gonna go past first. And so they came in, you got it. Just take his picture when he comes back. And then he's coming up the steps and he's all sad, like, Mom, I did it, lost it. So I'm talking ugly tears at that point. I was like, I can't put this shit together. It was just because over the last like month and a half, he was really sitting there like, I don't know if he's going to do this. Like, I don't know if he's going to graduate. He needed to pass 2 classes, and every day it was like, so have you done the work in that class? Have you completed your work in that class? We got a letter like if he misses one more day of school, he's not going to graduate. You go to all your classes today. Please just tell me. So last Tuesday, he sent me a picture that showed the people that qualified for graduation. His name was on there. So excited. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. What are we going to do now? I have no idea. I don't know. He's supposed to go to community college for a year and then transfer into Morgan. I'm also talking to him about possibly joining the reserves as a backup just in case the college thing doesn't work out. At least you have a career you can fall on. But I'm just excited that stage of my life is over because the last 4 years of high school, that's the hardest time I've ever had to deal with being a mom. The last 4 years and then the last 90 days have been like, I don't know if I'm really built for this stage of life, but we made it.
Well, you do know you have another one.
I do. And that concerns me, like, well, shit, I don't know how I'm going to do it again. I barely did it this time. We're going to make it happen. We did it. He graduated. Now he wants me to take him to get some gigantic ass tattoo on his arm. His arm like this big and he wants a tattoo. Whatever. We'll discuss that later. Sorry, that was my life update.
No, that's good. So while we've been out the last 2 weeks, anything new, India?
No, sir.
Six?
Money might pull up.
I think might pull up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will, what is it called? Give me the word. Cross promote. So, Six and myself have taken on this endeavor to, is that the word? Endeavor. Well,
Y'all get the gist.
yeah, we have taken on this task. And it's going well. So out there in the world, if you decide that you don't have anything to do on a Monday night, go on that page and come follow us.
Pull up.
But
Wow,
What's the
I'm
page?
really excited. What's the page? What's happening?
I know, man.
I mean, I don't know. I think all this drainage has been draining me. I do apologize. But the page is, you can go O'Reilly, OREALLY_ENT. OREALLY_ENT, or go under DOTS.I.X. All the information on there. Any artist, rapper, R&B, poet, any artist, if you want to come to the showcase, Monday, June the 3rd, we are having a showcase. Contact Mr. Six, DOTS.I.X on IG. So
737.
37 Carroll Street,
Baltimore.
Cheat Day Lounge and Grill. So that's what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. That's new. Also for myself, the Z Child era, the Chronicles of the Z Child. She has now come back to Baltimore. She left Morgan after a semester, 2 semesters she's done. She's back in Baltimore, and We're gonna see how this ride goes. We're gonna see how she messes up my summer. She
Y'all gonna have so
You
much
said she was
fun.
at Morgan,
yeah, she went moving.
so which means she's back to Baltimore.
She went to PG, now she's back.
Oh,
She went home
She
for a
went
little
home
bit.
for a little bit, now she's back in Baltimore.
okay.
Now
So-
he has to be a responsible adult.
Right.
To come in the house,
Yeah, do all those good things.
cook dinner, and have eggs all the time.
He
Yeah,
better.
yeah, that's what I gotta do. So we're gonna see how this summer goes for the Z Child Chronicles.
It's gonna be great.
If I don't kill her first.
Don't do that.
But other than that, so nothing new.
Okay, that's all I got.
Nothing new. How's everybody's jobs going? All jobs are going well?
I mean, it's paying the bills.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like, ain't that what it's supposed to do?
Yeah,
Paying the bills, making it happen.
yes indeed. So why did we talk about Mr. Harvey Weinstein?
What about
So he's paying his way out of this situation. But then, yeah, I think it's like $44 million he's paid out.
You got it.
But you know what's so crazy? Us as black people, and I'm gonna say us, everybody, we make it a way to crucify the black person, the Michael Vicks, the Bill Cosby, the Robert Kellys. We crucify these people, but then when you got people like Harvey Weinstein and a couple other those jokers who've done the same type of offenses, no one looks for those people.
That's
They
because
just-
it's not portrayed the same in the media.
They pay them, they pay their money, and it's all good, and we out.
Is it that we're not crucifying them or that we're not paying them any money? I'm not paying them any money.
It's not in the media like
And I didn't even
black
pay
people
Bill Cosby no
in
money.
the media.
They crucified Bill though.
They didn't crucify him already?
No!
I don't think they crucified him as much as they did Bill, but a lot of his projects behind the scenes were being canceled. And a lot of things that he was connected to were being affected. Like I watched Project Runway, and not this season, but the season before when the whole Weinstein thing started, they had Project Runway All Stars, and his wife, Georgina, was one of the judges. And they had taped it when all of that was going down, and they held that season for an extra year because they didn't know if they would get like bad press because Georgina was on there. And then even when they started airing it, Lifetime did not promote the show. So no, he wasn't necessarily crucified, but behind the scenes, him and his family were definitely being affected. I do think that he should go to jail like Bill Cosby did, but that's just my thought. That's all I had.
I'm gonna say I think he needs to go to jail as well. I think anybody who is out here causing lewd sexual acts that are unwanted should go to jail.
But were they unwanted? Were they unwanted or were they not wanted when they didn't get the results they thought would happen?
Well, we don't know. We weren't in the room with these people. Just like we wasn't in the room with Pill Bill.
I was not.
But
Why you gotta have a little side name? Why can't we have one for Harvey Smithstein or whatever?
well, we can have one for him.
You gotta do one for the other. You gotta do one for the other.
We gotta. Well, you come up with one while the show's running. But what I'm saying to you is, I just feel like no crime, no sin is better than the other. And if you're gonna crucify one, you should crucify the other. It seems like we're the only ones that go to jail.
That's nothing new though.
It's nothing new, but
That's how the system is
should have
set up.
said. Bill got money, but they didn't want to take his money, I'm guessing. Or maybe they did take his money and they still crucified him.
Yeah.
Now you got this old ass man sitting in the goddamn prison, wasting the taxpayers' dollars. They could have put that man on house arrest.
Shout out Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where he's in jail
That's what he's at.
right now.
They could have put that man on house arrest.
He was already on house arrest.
But if he just continued his time on house
But
arrest.
why should he get house arrest where a regular Joe Schmo ain't gonna get house arrest?
I'm gonna tell you like this.
Because it states.
Those of us that have worked in the correctional facility, I myself, I've worked in the correctional setting as well as in a house, halfway house setting for the federal inmates. And I'm gonna tell you this: those folks that commit those type of acts get out before a drug dealer and a murderer. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen gentlemen who have committed rape or committed child molestation or got the pictures and all those things. They get out less time and they go home on the box less time than somebody who sold drugs.
Well, that's because of the that crime bill that Bill Clinton did in '94, where drug dealers and users were seen as more threatening than other crimes.
Because they're not just destroying one person, they're destroying families.
Right.
I mean, but raping somebody could destroy a family too.
It
all I'm
could.
saying.
It's a different, it's a different level.
Yeah, it was in '94 he did that bill.
So what's the different level? If I'm selling drugs in my community, I'm making money for me and my family, but I'm tearing down the community. All right. Then you got another joker who's taking pictures of children or raping children and doing all these lewd acts or whatever be to a woman. They raped somebody and they broke it down. Now they got off, so that was good for them. They got off. They busted a nut. But now you done messed up the woman or the child. Maybe the child now her whole, or even the young man, their area is all tore up now.
But even about their mind different.
Yeah, the mind is different. So now your family got to deal with this person who has to just deal with rape. Or maybe now I'm an adult and I'm scared to get my mail and I don't want my offender to find me. It's all a domino effect.
So you're saying rapists should get the same amount of time as a drug dealer?
Hell yeah.
Like you're a petty drug dealer or like the kingpin drug dealer? That's different time.
I think that a rapist should get more time, and especially a petty drug dealer, but a kingpin as well.
But how do the drug dealers look and how do the majority of the rapists look? The drug dealers look like us. The rapists don't look like us.
Of course, but see, I wasn't trying to say black and white there. That's why I was trying to stay away from that. But
But
I was trying to leave it on the
But you don't see no white guys outside swinging no dope on the corners.
from South Baltimore.
No, they begging. They begging for money.
sometimes
They chasing that
Who, the white guy?
They got
Yeah,
some
but
Tommies
they
out.
not
They got
outside.
believe you me, they got some Tommies out there in the world. I seen one.
But
I
I'm
seen
saying
one
the
about last
majority
month.
of the people that's being incarcerated for selling drugs are not Caucasian.
Of course, they're us, and they want us to go down.
Right.
But I just feel like the bill was meant for us to go backwards. And the whole thing that they've been doing as far as making these bills, making these laws for drug dealers and petty crime is making us go backwards. You go from one chain to the other chain.
you gotta think, rape is a personal crime. Like you went up to this person and you just did whatever. Some of the drugs kind of just anybody want it, I got it, and that's just what it is.
And I think that's why they give more time. Because anybody can get it.
What, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, the mentality of
Rapist, anybody can get it too.
no,
What if you got a
not-
serial rapist?
if you're a serial rapist, yeah,
But they still study who they want to get to. They
yeah,
have a type.
but drug dealers don't have a type. It's anybody. You can be a mother, father, a child, a grandmother. They don't care. You can be pregnant and go up to a drug dealer. He'll still serve you.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as we seen in the Notorious movie.
Not in real life.
No, I'm just saying, as we seen in the
Talk about
Notorious,
that block.
on the Notorious movie,
Uh-huh.
he served a pregnant woman.
Yeah, he didn't care. Because that's the reality of selling drugs.
Somebody
You
else
don't care.
will serve it to.
Yeah, somebody gonna serve him.
But I'm just saying, I think that a crime is a crime.
Mhm.
And if you rape somebody or you molest somebody or you have child pornography, I think you should be getting big crime as well.
Yeah, but they trying to make that a norm now.
They are trying to say that pedophiles is a mental disorder.
Well, they trying to say it's a sexual orientation too, like being lesbian or gay or transgender.
They are.
Some people just like kids.
So that's okay then.
They're trying to normalize everything.
It's not okay, but that is
It's
what they're
definitely
trying to
not
say.
okay, but that's the society we living in these days.
That everybody should have a voice and everything should be okay and we should all live in harmony.
For real, we should just
We'll be right
revamp
back.
our
Y'all
whole
gonna pay these bills.
Go ahead.
Oh, nah. I was saying that we need to revamp the justice system, period. Like, if I'm a clear person and I do this crime and a black person does this crime, we both should do the same time. Like, it's nuts to have somebody be like, he gets 2 years and then you got life.
Yeah, but we're not calling a shot, and until we call a shot, it's not gonna change. They don't want us to progress in society. They want us to stick where we are. Like, we might not be in bondage anymore, but they still got us stuck in a slave mentality, and they're not gonna change that. Because a lot of black people don't even understand where we are right now. They cool with just buying their belts and dancing to miscellaneous songs and all that stupid shit. They ain't even focused on their future or even building up anything.
Right. Right. But how do we? I don't know.
And that selling drug thing is a big thing. Like, if you grow up in it and you've been victim to it, you got a lot of family members and all of that have went through it, you can see the dynamic of the drug epidemic. It's deep.
What you understand? So I think that a drug dealer should be a mental disorder as well.
A drug dealer?
Yeah.
No.
Why is that a
No,
mental
absolutely
disorder?
not.
It's a
Why
choice.
not?
Because it's a choice.
If my father sold drugs, and this is what I saw.
No.
Oh no, wait,
Go
I'm
ahead.
talking.
Go ahead. 'Cause I
My
have-
uncle sold drugs. This is what I saw. I'm in a neighborhood full of drugs. And this is all I see. So now I'm choosing it is, but I'm messed up in the head because I don't know no other way.
So your mother was a single mother and your father wasn't there. That's what you saw. So, and you grew up with other people whose fathers wasn't there. They was raised by their mother.
Right.
So now you as a father get messed up in the head. So you just feel like your daughter should live with her mother and you should be able to build in your life.
Absolutely not. It's not.
No, it's not the exact
Same
same
concept.
thing. It's the same concept.
It's the
You
same
just said
But,
that
okay,
a
so
drug dealer,
if a
that's
drug
all,
dealer-
you gotta let me finish. You just said that a drug dealer, if that's all they see and that's all they know,
Right.
then they're messed up in the head. If all you see and all you know is single mothers and the
Some people are.
Some
But
people
you
are.
No, we're not talking about me because we're talking about drug dealers. I'm the drug
It's
dealer.
you. The
Right,
question
Some people
is,
are. Some
Alright.
people are messed up. Some people that are single, coming from a single parent household, are messed up. And it's a continued pattern. So if you're going to tell me that a pedophile can be get a mental disorder and now they ain't going to get in trouble because they have this mental disorder, a drug dealer should be able to get out of there too. A single parent should be able to get out of there too.
Get out of what? What is a single parent is?
You know what I'm saying?
A single parent can't do nothing but find a mate. Like, that's the only
What I'm
way
saying
you
to
can
you
not be
is-
a single parent.
If a crime is a crime, I shouldn't be able to say, oh, well, he has a mental disorder because
That's not true.
wow.
Somebody that stole a car should not get the same time as a kingpin. Like, that's not the same
It's
crime.
not.
No, that's not the same crime. But somebody who's stealing some goddamn child's fucking life,
I thought you only was free with that.
we're not talking about some more bullshit. Somebody who's taking a child's life, their whole, like, they're fucking up their whole brain, and they're gonna tell me, oh, he gets 6
So then you
months.
can't say that a crime is a crime. You can
Right.
say that
You feel like
certain
one is
crimes
higher than the other.
should be the same. But if I go out and
Well,
steal a
we're
car tonight, I
discussing-
shouldn't get 20 years.
What we're discussing right now, we ain't talking about no stealing of cars. We're talking about drug dealers and a goddamn pedophile. I think a pedophile should get hella time. I think a rapist should get hella time. And these jokers out here committing rape multiple times, going during their time, coming out and committing the same rapes again, going back in, doing a little 2-3 years, 6 months maybe, and come back home.
A lot of those guys is sitting around raping people. They've been raped and molested.
So now we give them a pass.
No, I'm not giving them a
You're not
pass.
giving
I'm
nobody
just
a
saying
pass.
that's where they
I'm
get it
laughing.
from. Just like you just said about the single parent, if a drug deal, that's all he has seen, and somebody has been raped and molested all of their life and they're conditioned to that, that's all they
That's
know.
what they gonna do.
Just like the scenario you just gave.
So a drug dealer should be considered as a mental disorder as well.
No, they shouldn't.
Selling drugs is a job.
Yeah, you
This is a job.
you decided to
So
sell
if
drugs.
selling drugs is a mental disorder, everybody that get up and go to work has a mental disorder because we keep going to work.
Yeah.
Selling drugs is a job that you chose because you felt like you couldn't get any other job.
And you
All right,
being
all right,
lazy.
all right. We are back. We are
And you
back.
being what?
We
Lazy.
are back.
Yeah.
We are back. Focus Movers. Affordable moving rates,
He killed me
fast
every time
and
he did it.
reliable services, free moving quotes, commercial and residential, local and long distance, last second and emergency moves. Locally owned and operated and 24-hour call center.
You can see it's on-
Call
I mean,
today,
I can see the rest of the day.
443-506-7905 or book online at focus-movers.com. Focus Movers. So we were just talking about drug dealers and
Being a mental disorder.
It's not. It's a job. You're either good at it or you're not. That's really how it works.
It's not a
It's a
mental
job.
disorder.
We're gonna go on. We're gonna move on.
Right, because we're
Because
not
we don't agree with it.
Right. Because it's a fucking job.
FTD.
I couldn't do it because
That's what people go.
I wouldn't even be good at it. I couldn't be good at it.
Oh,
I
those.
had time for that. Anyway,
Okay, we're going next. Where we going next, y'all?
speaking of society
Yeah.
and the new social norms that we are living in this year of 2019, how do you feel about the gender fluidity of it all? You know, like, remember when we was in high school, there was a guy that was like metrosexual and he had the man bag and he like groomed himself a little bit. And for a while that was kind of like a thing that was going on, but no one really paid any mind. But like now in this day and age, there's this whole gender fluid, like you can be gay, you can be straight, you can be bi, let's just all be happy together type of situation. Do you feel like as a society we need to go back to actually not assigning gender roles, but back to a more concrete understanding of the two?
Oh.
You know?
You know, these topics are hard, but I feel like back in the day when somebody was that flamboyant or that metrosexual guy, you knew that it was just a pretty boy. He got real pretty up, dressed real nice, put some nice cologne on, and he just was like a Farnsworth Bentley, and it was all good.
What is
He's around somewhere. He's been around.
Let me Google
So
it.
it's like,
Right. But now it's like don't nobody know who's who. Nobody knows who is animal lover. Nobody knows who's bisexual.
bestiality?
Nobody knows who's gay, who's straight. Nobody knows nothing. So I don't know. What we're gonna go back to, but
When do we need to go back?
I think we should have gender roles.
The question is, can we go back to it?
nope.
This is where we at. The only thing we do is move forward.
I just feel sorry for the children because the children have no whim in deciding on what I'm gonna be.
I was watching this show I watched on YouTube called The Scorpion Show. And they were discussing how Arthur's teacher or principal or whatever, the guy, like how he married a guy in the cartoon. And like when I saw it, I was like, whatever, and just kept it moving because in the society that we live in now, like there was nothing surprising, like, oh, the teacher's gay, whatever. But when they were talking about it, the one host, Mikkel, said something that like really stuck with me. Like when we were kids and we watched cartoons, wasn't nobody worried about if people was gay or wasn't gay. Like shit, it was a mom and a dad and some kids, or it was just like a mom and kids. And now it's like because everyone's trying to make the politically correct position or statement, now we have to show all aspects of the world, and it's almost like you are trying to force things on children. Like you should just let kids be kids, let them watch cartoons and have a good time. I mean, Because like my son goes to school with a little girl that has two moms, and he goes to school with a little boy that also has two moms. So it's not like they don't know that these things happen, but like you don't have to ram it down their throat.
Also on that show, so I heard that they cut the episode
Only in
made-
Alabama, I thought.
and
Yeah.
made it as a brother and sister getting married.
No.
Yeah,
Worse.
I read exactly. I read that. So I was like, what the hell? Like, but you're right. Why do we gotta watch cartoons where everybody now? I can say, okay, now let's say you got a Spanish speaking fish, a black quote unquote fish, a white quote unquote fish,
And that's racist.
an Indian fish.
How do we know that these fish are?
Yeah, that's stereotype.
Because the
No, what I'm saying,
black fish name is Tyrone.
right? What I'm saying is, that's what we're gonna do though.
So what they gonna do? They gonna name the black fish Tyrone and the Indian
And
fish
they're gonna have
like
Muhammad
Muhammad.
fish,
Yeah, he gonna work at 7-Eleven.
Pablo
Right.
fish. But look at The Simpsons though. The Simpsons is probably the longest running show, and they have every single race on that show.
They do.
They got and this is from back in the '90s where they had Apu running the Cookie Mart,
Yeah.
and that show has been running like this the whole time.
I feel like those are just inside jokes.
They're inside
Yeah.
jokes, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is the whole community and our whole world is in that show. And they don't have no, you don't have to say, oh well, this is Bart's gay friend. Like I mean I stopped watching Simpsons a long while ago, but I don't think they talk about like, oh well, this is a gay character coming to you, or
It's not a
this is a such and such character.
Do they in the shows? Do they say this, or is this what people say outside of the shows?
Well, like Apu,
No, I'm talking about like the gay friend and this and that.
Remember the purple Teletubby was gay? He carried a red purse.
It's a show that comes on called The Loud House.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, the sister is gay.
No, but his best friend has two fathers.
Yeah.
A big fat
Yeah.
black gay guy
Yeah,
and a
black
little
boy.
skinny white gay guy.
Yeah, so they got that. You got a sister that's gay.
Mm-hmm.
You got all the sisters are something. A nerd.
How you gonna put a nerd and gay in the same
They got a
category?
nerd. They got someone that's gay.
They got a
someone.
gothic person.
Yeah, gothic. They got someone who's
one
always
of the
making
dingy
jokes.
girls.
Dingy one. Yeah, so in that house, everybody's different. All his sisters are different. But my whole thing is, why do we have to have that out there?
We don't.
Where are y'all watching?
But they trying to normalize the situation.
Because you don't have small
Yeah,
kids.
no small kids.
Yeah.
Or you gotta have small kids to watch the Loud House. Man, that theme song, come on.
In the loud house, in the loud house.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch them type of shows.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
IG, what's up, IG? Talk to us. We back.
So India, you were saying that you think we should go back to some of the gender norms or roles.
Yeah,
Like what?
I feel like women have lost their sense of femininity to a
Mm.
certain extent because of the breakdown in most of our homes. When I say ours, I'm talking about black people. Most of our homes is just women raising children, single parents. So when you're a single parent, you feel like you have to be both roles. You have to be the man and the woman. So when you're trying to be the man, you lose some of your feminine aspects because you feel like you have to be overly tough.
Right.
So I think women should go back to learning how to be feminine.
And how to submit.
Yes, exactly how to submit and make relationships and dating a little easier. Because a lot of men get intimidated by those type of women.
And then
So let me ask you a question. When we have these single mother households, do you feel like when the woman, like you said, is being tough, does that make a now forgive me, world out there,
Get him!
but
that
does
means you
that
have to offend
does
y'all.
that make
Get him!
the child that's growing up to be the dominant gay person?
Are you?
No, I don't feel
No,
that
I'm
way.
just saying, like, So you're saying like,
I feel like if you're raised by a single woman that's very independent, she holds her own as a female, she's going to raise you to be the same way, to not depend on anyone. So if you're a woman and you're intelligent and you feel like you're independent, you can hold your own, you don't need a man for everything or anything, where does that put you in a relationship?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because, dudes, we all like somebody submit and, we want to feel like the dominant person. But when you're dealing with somebody else who's dominant, it's a lot of
Back and
headbutting.
forth,
And
yeah.
then you got to kind of communicate and, it's you got to massage the situation, you know what I'm saying? To let the female know, like, hey, babe, I got this. You did what you had to do before, but now you got a good man in your life. So you can fall back. I got it.
But that goes back to the prison situation. Like, if all the men are incarcerated, then who's the head of the household but the woman?
And they win it.
Yeah. Because even statistically, black women are at the top right now as far as education, careers, and it's like they just blowing a black man out of the water. So a lot of them feel like they don't even need him. So if a man feels like he's not needed, then really what's his purpose? So then he loses his masculinity. Because he don't have no reason to be masculine because the woman is.
Then you go back to jail with Keisha.
Yeah, and you got the
maybe he go give him a woman that's not headstrong now.
It's hard to find that.
It is.
They out there.
Because then you had the
There's a lot
sons
of
that were
reds out there.
You had the sons that were raised by the mothers that baby them and don't let them explore the world because they're scared
Right.
that something is going to happen to them. So
Right.
they coddle them too long. They're so used to women providing and doing everything for them that when they become grown men, they still expect the woman to provide and do everything because that's their norm.
I agree that you do have men not, and don't even have to necessarily be they were raised by a single mom, because I know some guys they were raised by both a mother and a father, but the mother played the more dominant role in the household because the father was out there working and paying the bills and doing what he needed to do so the house would run. And now as a grown man, they feel like they're still supposed to be babied and coddled by their wife, and their wife is trying their best to be like, no, you're supposed to be in charge of what's going on over here.
Right. And a lot of men in our generation don't know how to be the daddy role. Like they want that position, but they don't do the actions to get them to that position. And as a strong woman, it's hard for you to put that man on that pedestal or give him that respect if he's not showing you that. Like it's like you want to be the head of the household, but you haven't been taught the steps and the tools to be able to hold that position. So for a strong woman, it's like I can't respect you. You can't hold your end of the bargain. And then when the man falls, she got to step up. So when she step up, she loses all respect for him.
Right. It's one of those, like, I can do this shit by myself.
It sounds like any other thing about this 2 weeks.
No.
Nah, this
It
is
is
real.
it is real. In a lot of households, this is the way it works. And in our society, there does need to be not a course or a stage, like, women as mothers, we need to start showing our children, not necessarily what our role is as a woman or a mother, but, like, you have to show them how a household should successfully run. Like, a lot of women get offended when you be like, oh, you're supposed to submit to your man. And they're like, I'm not. No, that's not. Submitting to your man isn't like bowing down and kissing his feet. It's not. It's just when you are in a household and you are married, like, everything has to be a decision that the two of y'all came up with. And if your husband says no, like, you gotta just agree, like, no, my husband said, like, I can't X, Y, and Z. I mean, that might not be the way you have to say, but you have to have a mutual respect for him that when he says no, we just not going to do it. But he should have the same respect, like, if my wife's not feeling it, I'm also not going to do it. But there are a lot of women out there that just feel like, I'm going to do whatever I want. I work, I pay bills like he pays bills. And that's not a successful way for a household to run. It should definitely be 50, well, not even 50. It should be 100 on each person's behalf. But as a woman, you have to understand that if you want that man to be the head of your household and the leader of your life and all of that stuff, you have to give him authority. And as giving him authority, you also have to learn ways to, like, make him think that he's in charge on certain topics, but technically you over there stroking his ego, helping him decide what we're going to do.
Is it our generation?
I think it's our generation and the generation before us. I think what happens is there were things that we saw our parents do that we thought was like fucked up. Like when I become a mom or an adult, I'm not gonna do that because I don't even know why she did that. And so now we didn't do those things, and so now our kids aren't getting the same discipline that we got, and we didn't get the same discipline that our parents got because as society and generations age and grow, there's things that people used to do that you felt like I don't know why they're doing that, and then by the time you understand why it's doing it, your kid is 18 and you looking at him like, fuck, where did I go wrong?
I think our generation though is like a lot of these women out here, they be on that, like you said, they take the submissive word and throw it into, oh, I ain't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they take that word like too literal. And our generation is just, I think we're just so far gone from our grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of them just humbling themselves, that's why we have all these issues.
The men need to humble themselves too.
We all do. Our generation.
Everyone does.
I think
Everyone.
most of these things happen way before our generation. It's kind of like a mental warfare type thing. Things that our fathers seen and made them feel like they was less of a person, and gradually the cycle keeps going, and we just going backwards. It's not a good thing at all. And I don't even understand how we gonna like get up from where we at, but sometimes someplace we gonna have to if we want to be like powerful in the world.
Well, you know, they say everything repeats itself. So at some point in time, it's going, that cycle's going to come back
I
around.
don't think we're this one.
I mean, it might not happen in our lifetime, but it's going to circle back around, and it won't be the exact same. You know, like people, just like with fashion, like people are now wearing stuff that like they used to wear in the 80s, like the neon is back and the little glasses and stuff like that. Like things from the 80s are coming back, but it's not the same way it was in the 80s. So even with the whole gender roles and being submissive to your husband and the husband being the breadwinner and the two-parent household is the norm and not the single-parent household and the nucleus and all that stuff. At some point in time, it's gonna have to come back around, but just in a newer, better, more improved way. Because in the 50s, when there were two-parent households, women wasn't getting the respect that they deserved as the wife and the mother and the caretaker in that house, and that's how we ended up where we are now. Because as women got older, it was like I'm not doing that bullshit that Carol was over here doing, or putting up with Floyd having a family on the other
You gonna
side
have
of
to
town.
respect me.
Right, you're gonna have to do more than what you're doing. You think you're just gonna come home and I'm gonna have dinner ready and the house clean, and you out there sleeping with so and so?
I think that
That,
that is showing parts of that what you're talking about is happening. Because I would say like when I was in high school, it was not cool to really have a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm doing this and that. And now you look at the youngins now, they like, we're in a relationship. You like, no, you were 13, what you know about a relationship? So I
I
mean,
think their relationship shit is bullshit, though.
but I mean, it's cool to be in one now.
Yeah, but I think that now that they just say, "No, I'm in a relationship," just to say I'm in a relationship. But I think that our grandparents or some of our grandparents who had the husband who, like they said, that Rolling Stone shit, I don't think it will come back like that because of this whole mommy, daddy, two mothers, two fathers.
I mean, but there were gay people back then. It just wasn't
It wasn't the
Like
thing.
how it is now. So,
Yeah, it wasn't
right.
the
It
thing.
wasn't out there. Like
It
it was something secret.
so I don't know. We need to, something needs to be fixed, but I don't think that, I don't know.
You don't know what?
I just feel like women and men balance one another out.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, you need that stability and balance in a household.
But you know what's the problem? People feel like if one is doing better than the other, I'm shining that person.
Yeah, but you
I
shouldn't
thought
be
you
in
shining your mate.
You shouldn't be in
People doing
competition.
it.
They do,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't be in competition when you're in a relationship.
I mean,
That's not. You're
y'all
supposed to
seen
be working
like
together.
with Martin. There was an episode of Martin when they found out Gina was making more money.
Like he didn't know. Like, come on, you already in the radio.
Right. Jimmy was making more money. Now people throwing money at him. Man, I feel sorry for you, bro. Why?
You work at a radio station.
No, we don't want to.
I'm just playing.
They ain't paying me nothing.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mind my woman if she made more money than me, okay. But at the end of the day, it's still her money. Like, I don't see why people
As
do
long as
all
she's
that.
still respecting him as the head of the household, I don't see what the problem is. Now, if
But
it's,
see,
now,
they
if it
don't
was
want to do
her
that.
doing it, I mean, if he's still maintaining his role, then okay. But if he's not, then no.
I don't know.
I mean, you got guys like that though.
But I think when you get, before you get married, you're supposed to have that conversation about how financially you're going to go anyway. Like, how we going to split these accounts up? We doing all joint accounts, or we going to have a joint account for the bills, and you have your account, we have his account. And
But people don't get in on you because now I'm checking for your account. Like now you putting your money over here and you putting your money over here. But now we got this little bit of money over here. Now you're like, oh, let me go to my account. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to trust anybody.
Yeah, people got trust issues these days.
They definitely do.
And parents done taught some people like, hey, you know you gotta keep a stash.
Oh
But if
yeah,
that person-
definitely.
If
They
that
definitely
person
teach
keeps
these
a stash,
women
then
about
they're
their
right.
that mad money.
Just in case he leaves.
Right.
well, what's wrong with that?
If we splitting 50-50, then you just gotta let me know ahead of time what we doing. Like don't be
I don't think you should split. So this is my personal opinion. I can't tell nobody else how to marry and live their life. I don't think it should be. I'm not saying it should be split 50-50, but I think in a marriage there should be 3 to 4 accounts. There should be a joint account for the bills. There should be another joint account for saving, for emergencies, vacations, things like that. And then each person should have their own account that they put a certain percentage of money in, but everybody knows how much money is going where. Because what's wrong with that? You should have your own money. I should have my own money. As long as all the bills
It's fine, but I
are
don't
paid.
think nobody gonna talk about how much money they got in their account.
Yeah, because if it's my account, then it's mine.
Right.
Right, but no, you don't have to know how
I
many
mean, but if
Right.
it's his account, then it's his, and I respect that he has his own account. I can't get mad because he got 10 stacks and I only got 1,000.
Right, you-
That's
that-
on
that's
me.
your
they know how to get that money back.
And I'm not
Every
saying
time
like
y'all
you
go
gotta
out.
tell them. Well, yeah, I'm not saying like you gotta tell them how much is in there, but like this is how much the household bills cost. So we're gonna split that 50-50 as long as we can handle it together.
Right.
And then this is how much we're gonna put into savings together. And then whatever's left over, that's between you and what you got left over, what you gonna do with your money. That's the way I look at it. I'm not married.
We'll be back, y'all. We'll be back.
I feel like as long as it's not hindering the relationship, it's fine.
That's the way I think. I think it's fine. However you have it worked out.
But I don't. The fact that we have like gotten away from that,
Mm-hmm.
because even as a woman, I know I cannot do everything that a man can do. But I also know in our generation, and in society these days, women are being taught that they can do everything a man can do.
What do you feel like you can't do that you just asking?
I can't teach my son how to be a man.
Good one.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what it is to be a man. Just like a man can't teach my daughter how to be a woman. You don't know how to handle a period. You never had one.
Right.
You have no idea what it feels like the day before it comes, the morning that you know is about somebody. You can't tell her this type of thing. Just like I can't tell my son what's gonna happen when he gets to that puberty stage and he's now having wet dreams or waking up with what I don't know how any of that stuff works.
To be honest, I don't think I can really tell them.
You can't from it.
You should be
Hey,
able to
friends,
know.
we have had a conversation.
Our minds just be in the wrong spot. Like, I know being younger, I was like, yeah, but then I'm older, I'm like, nah, that just wasn't the right idea.
And it might not be so much as I can't do it, but me as the woman that I am these days, I don't want to have to. Like, if you're my man, I need you to play that male role. I need you to take control. I need you to lead. I don't want to have to lead my man.
I was at church one day and this pastor was talking about women being submissive and submitting to their husband and all that stuff. And he said what men need to understand and learn is that women don't have a problem being submissive, but they can't follow a parked car.
Right.
And if your car is just sitting there parked, she only gonna sit there and park with you for so long. Eventually, she
She
gonna have
gonna
to
go
get
around
out
that
and
ass.
phone.
She gonna go around that
Right.
ass and wave.
Right.
Fuck you. And put her middle finger up in that the mirror.
Right. And keep it moving.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of times when you're in those type of situations, they slow down your progress.
They do. I will be honest.
Your
My
car will definitely be in neutral.
yeah, like I was married for 9 years, and definitely for 5 of those 9 we were just sitting there. I'm looking at you, you looking at me. We ain't making no movements forward. We ain't going backwards. We just sitting here. And every year on New Year's Eve, I would say like, look, this year can't be like next year. We got to do better.
Right.
We got to make this happen. And it's just one of those like, I don't want to give up on my marriage. I don't want my kids to come from a single family household. So we're gonna try to work this out. And then the last New Year's Eve, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not gonna keep telling you that we can't just keep sitting here. Like you were showing me that you cool with what we're doing, and I'm about to show you that we not. And so I had to make a decision for myself and my kids. Like, we can't keep doing this. And even when I left, like I didn't walk out like, fuck him. I don't ever want nothing to do with him.
Right.
When I left, I had the conversation with him. Like, this is why I'm leaving. These are the things that I feel like you should improve on. These are the things that I'm going to improve on. And after 6 months, we can come back together and see if this is going to work out. And the 6 months came and went. 3 years and came and went. And I didn't work on the things I said I was going to work on. And he's still right where I left him.
Right. I just can't see me in a long. I can't say that because I've been there. But I don't want to be in a relationship that's not progressing. I don't want to be in a marriage for 5 years and we haven't done anything. I don't feel like I should be. I don't feel like where I am right now, I should still be in a relationship.
Right.
I feel like we should be either. What is it?
How do you gauge the progress? Because sometimes, sometimes a man will have a slow start and then a spurt at some time.
Yeah, but he has to make some effort.
Right.
And you can see effort. Like if you really just complacent with us, just living in this apartment 5 years, and we're not talking about getting a house, we're not talking about saving money together to establish things for our children. If you're not having those discussions with me, if we're not talking about business, money, investing, if we just stuck at I work my 9 to 5, we pay these bills in this apartment, you got your car, I got mine, we're not doing nothing, and I don't want to be there. Like I can progress on my own.
Right. I'm talking to you about how I'm fixing my credit. And you're like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But you're not fixing yours together. I done made my Credit Karma account, made yours, and I'm over here taking stuff off, and you just like, oh.
And stuff.
Right, like, oh, how's that working for you? No.
Yeah, you working ass backwards. Like I can't be progressing and you regressing, and then we still in the same spot.
But any woman that really wants to work out with her man or do things with her man, she's not just going up. She's not going one day be like, well, he ain't doing enough, I'm leaving.
Right.
Like if a woman gets to a point where like she's leaving because she feel like he ain't doing enough, she's been thinking about that shit for a long time.
Yeah, that's
like
definitely a progress.
right. Like women don't make decisions on Tuesday. Like you know what, I'm out.
We're not impulsive like that.
No.
Like men are impulsive.
Men will definitely make an impulsive decision. Women will have a plan A through Z. We done figured it out. We done put the money to the side. We know what we're moving to, what the kids going to do, how all that's going to work out. And we keep giving you time. Like, all right, I'm over here doing my thing that he don't know, but I'm still watching. And if he starts making strides forward because he sees that I'm moving forward, then we don't got to worry about that over there. But if I'm still trying to work it out and you ain't doing nothing, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm climbing out of the hole and you pulling me back in the hole.
Right. We just sitting here looking at each other.
Yeah, not doing nothing.
That's not gonna happen. We ain't never gonna retire. What we do, what we gonna do? Retire in this 2-bedroom apartment? Fuck out of here. This is how it works.
I think in that same situation in dieting, like who about to do this. When I start seeing you come down, then I'm hop on that.
That's
funny. Shit.
That's funny. I think the livestock.
Man.
We have to talk about the different gender roles too. That's because they don't have their door closed.
I wonder if you can hear that.
Yeah, somebody told me.
Somebody in the live said you can?
No. Touch me. And like, who's that talking to? Our neighbors.
Crazy, dummy.
Oh, God. Okay, we'll leave it there and see what happens. Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back, we are back. State vs. the U.S. Magazine, your official source to the streets from prison, highlighting high-profile cases, corruption in the police department, government, the prison system, wrongful convictions, and success stories of the former incarcerated. If you or someone you know have a story to tell, want a feature or ad space, please email stateversusmag@gmail.com. Get your print or digital copy today at stateversusmag.com. Also out there, make sure you visit www.wmskonlineradio.com. Join our mailing list for updates, events, shows, and more. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at WMSK Online Radio, hashtag WMSK Grind. Also, people, make sure that you come out Monday nights.
Pull up.
7 to 10. 737 Carroll Street. Where it all goes down and happens. Monday night.
I heard y'all had crabs the other day.
We had crabs the other night. Monday night we did have crabs.
They're $5 shots.
$5 shots. Hennessy, Ciroc.
Where y'all get the crabs from? Some of them.
We don't know where they came from. But come and join us Monday night. But we are back. What we going on now, Miss Bonnet?
So while researching this topic, I looked up terms of that are being used nowadays to express your gender or your gender role. There was a whole page, like a whole full-blown single-space page. There's agender, bigender, cisgender, gender expression, gender fluid, gender queer. So agender is not having a gender or identifying with a gender. They may describe themselves as being gender neutral. Bigender, a person who fluctuates between traditionally male and female gender-based behaviors and attitudes. Cisgender, that's a word I've been hearing a lot. Cisgender, a person whose gender identity and biologically sex assigned at birth are the same. For example, you were born biologically as a male and expressed their gender as a male.
So what does gender mean in itself?
Oh, I look that up. So cisgender is basically
What we are.
right, someone that's straight. But
What
they
is
say
cis?
oh, I gotta Google that too. Give me a second. So then gender expression is the external display of one's gender through a combination of how they dress, how they act, and other factors. I did look up gender. Well, I looked up gender roles. Gender roles in society means how we are expected to act, speak, dress, groom, and conduct ourselves based upon our assigned sex. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different terms for gender, for gender assignment. Hold on. I'm finding the definition.
I just want to live in a simple world where you get A, B, or C, and that's it.
No, just A and B.
I mean, I get it. I wanted to say that. But
So, okay, Okay, the definition of gender per Google Dictionary. Either of the two sexes, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. The term is also used more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female.
So that definition, gender is only two things, male or female.
That's
Now
what
identity
Google says.
breaks down all those other aspects of the gender.
Right.
So the things that you identify as aren't really gender.
Right. Gender is what you are assigned at birth.
Okay.
So these terms that I looked up are the definitions of what you identify as. So like we just identify as women and they identify as men. But if we were being politically correct or in the LGBTQ plus community, then we would say, oh, we're cisgender. Just to say it. Because that's how we identify. Someone that likes both males and females, they would identify as gender fluid. And that's what it is.
So
Gender
bisexual and straight alone.
Right. So straight is now cisgender. Bisexual is now gender fluid. Gender
Fluid or fluent?
fluid.
Like you flow, like fluid, whatever way you want to go.
Oh, I see.
Who's making these decisions in this stuff?
The LGBTQ plus community.
I mean, who gives them the right to make these decisions?
Hold on. So I don't know what the plus is. I'm gonna Google that too.
Because
Wait,
it's
I'm
more
gonna get back to
letters.
that. And there is more letters.
That's why.
So cis, I looked up cis to ask me what that was. So cis is denoting or relating to a molecular structure in which two particular atoms or groups lie on the same side of a given place.
Oh,
Alright, that's what it says. So what was your question?
Like, who gives them the right to make all these names and everything?
Okay, so to my understanding, because I am not a member of this community, but in the LGBTQ plus community, they are in the middle of their civil rights battle, how Black folks had civil rights in the 60s. So they are trying to express themselves and have people understand that what they are and what they identify as and how they act is of a norm, and that everyone needs to be able to express themselves and identify as something. Now, you don't have to follow any of these. You don't have to say, oh, I'm cisgender. I don't walk around saying that. You can say, I'm a straight male. But these are just terms that were created to make people feel more comfortable and to help them identify with how they feel.
So if all the pedophiles got together and they did the same thing, it would be cool.
I think at some point people would probably try to make it cool, but like right now it wouldn't be. But you know, pedophiles might have their moment in 10 years.
I think they will.
I think they would. So
they got that moment now.
Yeah.
let me see if there's any term for pedophiles.
I guess they have
It is one. I can't think of what it is though.
Look out there, shit. QQ already. I must mention this one.
Pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent expresses a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children.
It's funny how when they dominate dysfunction, it becomes a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the drug epidemic. When we was running around getting high for dope, we just dope thieves.
Right.
Now that it has affected their community, oh, it's an epidemic, it's a disorder.
It is
Like,
an
why?
So it's the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, that's
Now that it's affecting the white folks in Harford County and the kids in Howard County, now that they're all dope fiends, now we gotta go save the world.
And now the majority of pedophiles are Caucasians. Now it's
Well, yeah, it's definitely been out there for a while.
Heal the world.
yeah.
Like I work with the Behavioral Health Administration of Maryland, and so for a while it was the mental health for people with obvious mental health issues, and then there was the Alcohol and Drug Administration. And about 4 years ago, they came together and became the Behavioral Health Administration. So right now, all of our conferences, because I plan the conferences, so that's what I know about. All of our conferences, we have to have at least 2 sections in there in which we are discussing the opioid epidemic and how the state of Maryland is working to solve it or work with them. We had a whole conference last year, the harm reduction conference, and at the conference they had a safe tent outside, and this safe tent is an actual tent. Well, in Maryland they're tents, but like overseas they have like actual brick and mortar facilities where you can go and do your drugs in a safe environment so that you don't overdose
They
by
have
yourself.
vans and little buses to go to the city to do that. They give you needles so you
Right, they
can
give you clean needles.
Yep.
They do, and so their whole thing was no one should die alone. So
Everybody got together.
right.
Yeah,
So
with the
although
needle
you
on
are a
the
drug addict and you are about to overdose and that's how you're going to die, no one should die alone. So there's these safe houses that
Well,
they had.
that was,
And in the state of Maryland, since it is now an epidemic, the governor is putting so much money into the behavioral health community to help combat this issue.
I think I'm just so nice with that issue because I grew up in a family with a bunch of people who was getting high, and they had none of that. And it wasn't an epidemic, it wasn't a disorder. It was just you all there getting high.
Right.
So you just gotta deal with it. You die, you mess up your family, your children are
Right.
growing addicted to drugs, and who cares?
That one uncle that when he come over, everybody put their purse and over there behind grandma.
But it was like 4 of mine. So yeah, I get it.
We had the one and his friends, and so when he came, everybody put their purse in the China cabinet. And my grandmother has been in a wheelchair for forever, so she always sat right there. So when we knew he was coming, we just put all that stuff back there.
are regular people allowing themselves to safe tents?
Well, why would you want to go?
I mean, because I would think that would be a nice place for a country.
It just seemed like it's
So and that's what I said to them. I said, so basically you're gonna set up this tent next to like known drug corners and like so I was like, so I guess the cops are gonna post up right next to you. They're gonna watch the drug deal go down, watch them go in there and do the drugs and then arrest everyone. And they were like, well, they were still on that no one should die alone.
But
That don't make no sense.
it doesn't. It just seems like it's illegal to me. Like you're promoting them getting high, whether it's safe or not. You're still promoting them to get high off an illegal substance.
Because it's a disorder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's a disorder. They're not dope fiends. It's a disorder, and we shouldn't treat them as less than because it's a disorder. There's so many terms that I'm not using properly. Like it's no longer acceptable to call them like a dope fiend or a crackhead.
So why is the drug dealer still a criminal if they're not criminals for getting high?
Yeah, pharmacists.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel. Like if they have a disorder, then the drug dealer should be pharmacy.
And it should
And
make
they're providing them with the medication they need for their disorder.
I agree.
it should make you cool with disorder too. I'm just saying. Kinda, it's hard. It's addictive.
One thing, I got something else with disorder. I guess what was it called? Overworking or whatever it came up this week. Burnout disorder.
I got that
Yes,
right now.
I do too. I put on my Instagram today. Like, would it be frowned upon if I use 200 of my sick hours like in a row?
No,
I just,
burnout.
right. I can't take it.
Documented.
I saw my therapist. Right, I need the whole summer long. How many hours is that? From the day the kids get out of school to the week before they
That's a lot of hours.
I got enough.
Man,
I probably do. I have almost 400 sick hours.
Yeah, you definitely did.
I got enough.
Me on the other hand, I have like 4.
no comment.
I got like 400 sick hours.
I tell them work.
I burned mine up.
I got it.
I ain't giving a
As soon
state
as I
nothing.
get it.
I ain't giving a
Ooh,
state.
I got 5.
Right.
I'm saying,
I ain't giving a state.
I will be on Friday.
I was talking to my coworker the other day, and I was like, yeah, I got like 400 sick hours. She's like, I think I have like 1,500 sick hours.
Oh, how do you get 400 sick hours?
Because they don't expire.
But you don't know take off. You don't know take off.
Not often. I'm telling you.
I've been taking a lot of Fridays off after leaving the shop. I'm like,
I
oh, I
don't
can't
think
do
that
it.
means I don't take a lot of days off, and then it works out. So like
I'm not giving them
the university is closed the last week of the year, so I always take off the last 2 weeks of December. So like I get paid for not using my time 2 week vacation every year, and I don't have to use. It works out.
So if you leave, you can sell that time back to them.
Get a check.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I'm a state employee.
Let them get the check.
Yeah, it's gonna be alright.
Yeah.
It's gonna be alright. I mean, if I leave, I'm probably just say just count these last 25 days as my sick days. Just do that. Because I don't want to have to fight with you back and forth. Like I had this. No,
Because a lot of times they don't want to pay you off then.
right.
You're like, oh, you can really only get paid out for 400 and you got 4,000.
Right. Like, oh, okay. Well, this is my 30-day notice. I'm gonna be sick for the next 30 days. Oh, sorry, I lost where we were. I did the gender terms. It is. So, do you believe that someone can successfully play both gender roles? Like, can a woman be both feminine and masculine? Can a man be both masculine and feminine? Can they successfully do both?
I think in a homosexual relationship, yeah.
Success is how
Well,
measured.
First of all, what is for a man, like what would be considered, I guess, too feminine or feminine at all?
But what is femininity?
Yeah.
What is being feminine to you?
I don't know because now I've learned to adjust with the time, so none of that shit thing is like, that dude is not a dude.
What did you grow up on? Like what?
Well,
what were you taught?
I just have my mother. You know what I'm saying?
So was she feminine to you?
Take the trash out.
No,
That's what you was telling me.
she wasn't married. She was just there. You know what I'm saying? But well, honestly, I've never seen my mother with a boyfriend until more so recently.
Was your mother feminine? Touch?
Yeah.
So what do you define feminine as?
She's a lady. She just, I don't know how to define her or describe her, but she's just more womanly. She had no manly type of traits.
So is cooking and cleaning feminine?
No, I don't know.
It's not a feminine trait?
No.
So it's just the way you carry yourself.
Yeah. She didn't take that motherfucker trash out though, I know that much.
Because that's a masculine thing.
I ain't saying that she just had
I mean, that's how we're raised though, that men gotta take out the trash.
We are.
I tried to have my daughter take up the trash. When we first, I didn't know. I was like, yo, we divided this, boo, boo, boo. And that didn't work out.
They probably cussed you out.
No,
Not if you live in it.
No, that ain't happening. But I mean, we settled on the business.
That's like once we
That's
get
what I was
like,
gonna say. The women usually do the dishes and
They
they
have,
have trash.
but the two women in my house had to tell me that wasn't right. Cause
your mother took the trash out?
I don't remember for real. I mean, we live in apartments. Trash is just there, but
The boss told me the other day that
Yeah.
the boss, he's the 4-year-old, the boss said the lady is supposed to wash the dishes. Where you got that from? I don't know, but
So
the
we
boss.
got the idea already.
Right, at 4 years old, that's what the boss said.
He ain't gonna have his woman taking out the trash and changing no changing no
You
tires.
had ass,
Pumping
you wash the
gas.
dishes.
If
And
you
cooking
in the
for
car, I'm gonna sit right here.
I seen that shit the other day,
I don't care if I'm
last
driving.
week.
What?
A lady went to go pay for the gas and came back and paid and pumped the gas.
And the guy was in there chilling.
Yeah. I was just like, wow.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by them gender roles have definitely switched.
You pull up like here. If I'm paying this tax, it's on my card. And
Right.
it's right on my phone. I'm not getting that. My kids pump my gas.
No, they should.
They both look at each other. Well, who did it last time? All right, my turn. You goddamn right. I'm not pumping. I only pump gas if I'm by myself. That's like cutting the grass. I'm not cutting grass.
Oh, gosh. We'll be right back, y'all.
I'm not cutting grass. I'll do inside stuff. I ain't doing no outside work. I'll plant some flowers.
If it's your house, you wouldn't cut the grass?
No.
You
If
pay
you
for
live by
that.
yourself, you wouldn't cut the grass?
No. You know,
You
they
pay for that?
yeah.
what if you're a man and you don't want to grass neither? Is that a problem?
Yeah.
What if y'all paying for it though? What if
That's
y'all paying
fine. If you paying for it, that's fine.
That's
That's still your role.
I don't cut the grass now because I don't have the equipment. But when I was a kid, what? You come over and holler at me if you want to. Yeah, you cut that grass. Me and my two cousins shared, well, one. Me and my cousin shared that yard. One will get the back and one will get the front.
What's a masculine trait that a woman may have that might be a turn off to you?
How they talk.
What's that mean? Like a whole bunch of cussing?
It's so rough, like,
It's rough and hard.
yeah, rough and hard
I
talk.
don't give a fuck about this
Yeah.
shit.
I hate a woman that
Not
says
me.
yo, and I know we're in
I
Baltimore.
hate yo too.
I hate yo, and I just hate a bunch of. I mean, I curse, but I get this woman who just be like curse, and it's yo. We ain't no yos.
Mhm.
I hate that.
What's yours?
I think more so trying to play the new role, like be in charge of everything or stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
What about you, Mona?
What makes a woman masculine? Or what makes
What's
a man
some
feminine?
what's some traits that a woman may have that are masculine that's like a no-no for you?
So it's funny, like I don't like women that cuss a lot in mixed company. Like if it's just me and you and we at the house shooting the shit, like every other word can be a cuss word because it's just us. But like when men get around, like nah, come on, we can't be talking like that in front of them. Just because like no, that's not like when men are around, you're supposed to be a lady, and like unless they're like your homeboys or whatever, and you've known them for a long time, then you know they used to it. But like when men are around, you're supposed to be a lady, so all that cussing ain't happening. I think it's absolutely disgusting for women to spit. Like don't do that. Like that. I don't understand how you out here spitting. I just the way you carry yourself. Like I'm not saying like you have to dress like full makeup and a skirt and all that stuff, but like there's just like sometimes you be out with like the oversized clothes on. Like it's all about the way that you carry yourself as a woman and the way that you act. And like you should always act like a lady when you are with mixed company.
What's acting like a lady though?
How do I describe it? I don't even know how to describe it.
Cause I'm all lady, but I do spit.
In front of people?
You used to like,
If I'm by myself.
Well, right, if you're by yourself,
If I'm
fine.
outside, I definitely will walk it up and launch it somewhere.
Well,
I don't even
you
know
got
how
that stuff in your throat, you ain't got a choice.
Yeah.
Like I
I
mean,
don't know how to spit. Even if something's like stuck in my chest, like I have no idea how to like get that shit up in the
Now,
spit.
that's something that I do that's a little masculine.
Spitting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Cause I'm
y'all
not
come to the
following.
bedroom rough.
you gotta come to it. What's what you mean?
get over here.
No, I'm very submissive in bed.
I think sometimes
It's cute sometimes, but
I
not
want
overly.
a woman to like take the drawers off and say that shit.
Like, what the fuck is
Ain't
that?
nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but like I don't do
Not
that
on a
like,
regular basis.
Like if I'm just being funny one night or something, but like we ain't go all the time.
Yeah, no.
No,
Not all the time, but shit.
occasionally.
Nigga, if I'm asleep one night and you come in the room, ain't nothing wrong with slipping my shit down and just, yeah.
Slipping off your skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Rolling shit down.
And I can't stand a man that wants that all the time. Like, you gotta initiate sometime.
Right.
I ain't gonna keep it.
I'm probably only gonna do all that. If you're in the room sleeping, I come in and I start taking your clothes off. I'll be sleeping out drinking with my friends. Like I'm just not on like Tuesday night. I'll probably.
Why not?
You can do it on Monday.
That's what I was gonna say.
Nah, I just.
Cheat day.
Yeah.
I the most I probably do is like send you a text message and tell you something.
Take off your drawers.
Get in the shower.
Be naked by the time I get home.
Wash your legs.
What's wrong with that? Definitely watch it.
Wash your legs before I get home. I'm on the way.
That's the
I'll
code.
be
That's
there
the code. Wash your legs.
Niggas be
That's
sleep.
the
Niggas be
code.
sleep like shit.
Like,
Naked.
That blows my mind. I hate that. When you trying to do something and you let him know and then he sleep.
right.
Like,
You gotta get home fast. I ain't gonna lie. You be like, oh, when I get home, it's going down.
We up there. We up. Oh, shit.
Cause then when they wake up, they got a whole attitude. Like, where the fuck you been? Right. I texted
You
you
was
10.
asleep.
Right, I texted you 10 fucking minutes ago that I was on the way.
I
And
wasn't
you weren't
sleepy
asleep.
penis.
Nah, I don't really know 10 minutes.
No.
You gotta go.
You gotta be.
And then when I wake you up, like, come on, let's go. You're like,
Club-
man,
club
You
sorry.
gotta go
shut
brush your teeth.
145.
Again.
No,
You
you
ain't
don't.
got brush your teeth.
Club shut down.
If I
145.
tell you I'm on my way, be ready when I get there. You
And he
sleep?
fell asleep.
No.
Wake me up.
No, because then you won't
You
be
got that
that
sleepy
wet.
jump.
Yeah, that shit gonna be wet and sleepy.
That's your fault. That's your fault. You should have came
No,
early.
it's your fault.
You should have came early.
I told you I was on the way. Nigga,
I was at, first of
Nigga, it's
all,
already 12 o'clock.
first of all,
I gotta work.
when you text me,
I was
asleep.
kicking in the car.
When I was asleep, when you text me. So
So
now I got.
I'm asleep. I can't perform.
So now I got. If I didn't wash up already, now I gotta go wash up.
You did go
Now,
wash that ass.
now I'm laying down.
Get your legs.
Get
Got
your
the
legs.
legs down. Well, now I'm laying down. Hey, she ain't back yet.
FTV.
Oh, yeah. But you got
Then
those.
you try to wake up, you hear that snore, it's like,
Right. You're like, man. And that's when you call your girl, like, you fucking went to sleep.
Y'all ever wake up with, like, I call it the slushy brain, like when somebody comes in and you get asleep and they just wake you up and your brain don't have time to, like,
Comprehend
gather.
what's going down.
Yeah, I hate that shit. Give me a headache.
All the time. When your kids come in the middle of the night, like, Mom, I feel up. Wait, what the
Oh,
Wait a
man.
minute. Wait, hold on. What's happening here? Mm-mm.
you be like, all right.
Right, it's just like,
I got clean
where,
up.
where did you throw up at? Is it in the toilet?
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Go wash your face and get in this bed or something.
I realize you do that.
When you talk about your diet, what you put in your body, because a lot of times if you don't eat right, that thing don't get right.
Very true.
No
We
bad
ain't talking
diet.
about motherfuckers. I went to sleep because your ass took too long coming from the club.
Why didn't you
Then you
call
drink
me
a
and
bunch
ask
of
me where I
Pepsi.
was at?
What? You should have been on your way.
I
I was on my way.
I'm on my way. Get ready.
Right,
So I'm
yeah.
getting ready.
But then
Trying to take a
drunk,
slow shower.
and I had to take India home when we got to her house.
See?
She didn't
You do what you
see
want.
Oh,
See?
no,
No, no, no,
Then
no.
I had to make sure she got in the door.
You doing too much.
I had to get something to drink on the way because I was thirsty.
FTB.
All right, so if it's the other way around, how you gonna feel? You tell your girl I'm on my way, have that thing ready, and you get in there and she sleep.
Then what?
I'm waking you up.
What if she don't get up?
Get the fuck up.
What if she don't get up?
I ain't gonna do that.
Right, what you want to do?
See?
You gonna get that lazy tail.
Or that
I don't like that
angry,
lazy tail.
that angry puss.
Right.
Well,
Angry was
yeah, I am.
Angry was good. Fuck.
She be mad as shit. You just give it.
Right. If she
That
falls
sleepy
asleep,
shit.
if she get
That's
mad,
I'm taking it.
yeah, fuck that. If she is upset, that's her fucking fault. We'll talk about it in the morning, or maybe we won't.
After you get yours off.
Yeah.
What we gonna do?
You better get hers off first.
Fuck her.
See?
FTB.
See? And they're like, that's why she just gonna lay there like,
Don't
come on.
fuck
She
like
shouldn't have went to sleep.
You shouldn't have went to sleep either.
Right.
Y'all took too long.
Why
I gotta
why
take
y'all
India
get a
home.
pass for falling
I
asleep
gotta
and we
take
don't?
India home.
I
I gotta
did.
make sure she got in the door.
I did.
FTB. India's on the board. She's all right.
No, fuck
Now I
that.
gotta go to 7-Eleven.
I gotta watch her go. I gotta watch her go in the door and flick them lights, and then I pull off.
Now I'm at 7-Eleven waiting in line from everybody at the club.
But I brought you a soda. Or
And
whatever.
now I don't want
you
that fucking shit.
Don't do that.
I don't want that
I take a
fucking soda.
Slurpee at any time. I ain't gonna
You gonna take the Slurpee, but you don't wanna wake up to get
The
none.
Slurpee will wake me
Gosh,
up.
shit is bad.
Yeah, he want the Slurpee, but he don't want the Slurpee. Fuck that shit.
Come on.
Man, fuck that. When your ass, this is how you should do it. When you leaving the club and you drop the right off, your last person. Now you say, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
Well, that still might be 10 minutes out.
But at least if I jump in the shower, at least I got time to get in the shower. But see, after now, I got time to get in the bed and I gotta go sleep.
See?
You woke up like this.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You
Oh.
gotta do all that work to get you right to you sleeping.
Yeah. Do that work. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I do that
No,
work.
I told you to do that work before I got there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be prepared.
Right. I
You
was
want
already,
some game and shit.
right. I was supposed to walk in and you had to pick me in.
Yeah, and I didn't jump on.
But I was asleep though.
No, it shouldn't have been.
I called you
So
and
now I'm
told you to
up.
wake up.
Now I'm up, dip your hand, wash your body.
Right.
Laughing.
Waiting for me to walk in with
Yeah.
the Slurpee.
Yeah.
But then you gotta take your shower.
Nigga.
I thought we discussed that last time. So you come into the club, You want his dick in hand,
If
but you ain't take no shower.
if I left the club when that shit closed,
A lot of guys are taking that club
and
pussy.
told
I ain't
right.
trying it.
Oh.
And told you be
Yo.
ready.
Yo.
They are.
I'm gonna tell you this. This is some crazy shit. The other week we went by. What's that drug called? Medusa. Son, there was a bunch of little ladies walking past, and I swear on everything you could smell a couple of them say, "Jesus." And we was on the street. I was like, "Oh no,
Well,
this
she
is
didn't
nasty."
know that's what she smelled like.
No, she had girls with her, like a whole clique. And ain't nobody. Nah, that shit was crazy. So
If she probably got kids and somebody's hitting it.
I ain't with
I ain't with
that.
that.
She probably went home, went to the bathroom. and
No
told
club
her
box. No
Funky
club box.
females come through my job on a daily basis and they be pregnant. I mean, smell them from afar. Niggas is going in that fish tank.
Ain't getting that flower.
At the club.
That farm raised thing.
Fucking farm raised. They ain't even raised the goddamn Atlantic or so man-made salmon.
Mhm.
So, is it the same thing for men?
What?
Can a dude come from basketball club?
Now basketball, that's not realistic.
I mean, the club is
No, no. All that bag and forth running around the ball smelling like
West Court
I mean,
basketball.
if you dancing at the club.
Then I'm gonna get in the shower because I'm grown. But most of the time, if I don't even go out like that. But I'm not gonna be throwing no funky shit on nobody.
I'm gonna go in the bathroom and wipe when
freshen
it needs
up.
to be
That's
wiped.
more time, but you don't be sleepy.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna wipe when it needs to be wiped. We ain't taking no full blown shower. If I take a
Bird
full
bath.
blown shower, I'm going to sleep.
Right.
Call it whole day.
Hold that.
A whole day. Splash, splash.
Right.
Right. When I come out, be ready. Because if I come out and we talking.
What is be ready though?
Be ready. I shouldn't have to be doing no work for that thing to be right. Right.
No work.
So let's be ready. I should just
Yeah.
jump on.
Like if you tell me be ready when I get home, that shit gonna be ready.
Already on drip.
Yeah. You told me
Ain't that what I'm
dry.
supposed to do?
You told me dry. You gotta rev it up.
Already on what?
After you took a shower, we took a
Yeah.
shower. Let us know we ready.
Ready.
Waiting on you. If you take too long, I'm gonna finish it. Be
Everybody
fuck it,
be
I'm
like,
gonna
you
finish
ready all the time. That's just a form.
Nah, you ain't gotta be ready all the time. You just gotta be ready when I tell you. Cause I might come home and be like, I'm tired. I'm fucking drunk. I'm spinning.
Oh, fuck that shit.
And that's a lot of times what could happen. You be like, damn, nigga, I've been ready. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that.
And then you,
Those are the
like, I'm
best
sleeping
moments
now.
when you know your girl or something coming from the club or coming from somewhere, boy. You know you gonna get that
That's when
motherfucker.
that mediocre head becomes.
Yeah. Damn, girl, what's going on? Oh, just shut the fuck up and lay back. Oh, shit. Woo!
The question is, you all night when she grinding on somebody else.
Oh, who gives a fuck? Who's talking about some other shit? I don't give a fuck.
Who cares?
She back in the house. She back in the house and she drunk, and this shit is just going all type of crazy. Motherfucker. Fucking.
Oh, they still pants rolling in the club.
Right.
I don't know.
Girl, you look good once you back that ass up. Fuck that shit. FTB for real. Bitch, don't back up on me. Fuck with your pants on. Get the back of this motherfucking car. Fuck that. You fucking grinding club. Oh, grinding shit.
No, that for you.
No, let the bitch go home and have a motherfucking nigga.
How they be on?
Fuck that shit. Nigga, put the lights on. All right, thank you for a good night.
Right.
What?
Alright. Then you in the car with what you mean? Like, I'm on way, boo. I'm on water. I'm ready.
You all mad as shit.
Right. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart.
Yo.
Sweetheart, where you about to go at?
To my man's house. It's your
We just had a good time in this. Don't worry about it. I'll be here next week.
Next week, Monday.
Like this.
Drowning, chewing, baby. Oh, I'm gonna take you to bed, all that shit.
That's
Nigga
how
got, got his whole leg up his shoulder ass. Nigga fucking putting in that work all night long.
And then she goes,
And the lights come on and she talking about, alright, see you next week.
that's all.
Week.
She got what she needed. She came to dance.
Oh, shit. Motherfucker.
You had the leg up on it.
Oh, hit it with the one show. Oh, Mason, what's his name? Hit it with the camera on Dougie. Damn. And now she on the way to the house.
With a whole girl and shit.
Well,
Taking the shoes on, leaving on the clothes.
Oh, yeah,
Right. Walking down the street, barefoot.
Hey,
On our way to Taco
sweetheart.
Bell, 'cause that's
Hey,
all
sweetheart.
That's that Baltimore shit.
Yeah, I'm saying, we already go at. Y'all sure I'm going down? Y'all sure I'm going down double T? Oh no, I'm all right. I'm about to go home.
Right, I'm good.
You want to go to the hookah spot?
Right.
No.
We going to the after hour. Oh no, I'm good, baby. I'll see you next week. I got to order my
I
man.
gotta leave my kid.
Right. I gotta look at my kids.
Oh, fuck you, mean? Put that motherfucking grind on you, baby girl.
No, I'm good. That was fun.
Oh, God. Damn.
That was funny.
Yes, indeed.
Those were
Yes.
the days.
Those were the days.
Now you be at the day party, like, all right, y'all, I'm drunk at 3. We're going
Going straight to the house.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We better go take a fucking nap, girl.
Oh,
Shit jumping off.
Hell no.
I'm gonna call you later.
You ain't texting nobody talking about meet me at the house.
Nope.
Or I'm gonna meet you at the door open, unlock the bottom lock.
Yes.
Fuck you mean?
Thanks to be the
That's
best.
when you drunk for real.
Oh,
What
yeah.
you doing?
I ain't
Open
doing
the
nothing.
door.
Right.
Right, I ain't doing nothing. Nigga know he dead fucking sleep.
You get that car, you get heavy as shit.
What you doing in the door? I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing. Just sitting there watching TV.
Nigga been in his head like she about
Yeah.
to eat.
Shit, man. Mother outside, she on that fucking porch though.
Yeah, she outside already.
What the fuck you doing on my porch? Why you with somebody wasn't over here? What you doing? I ain't doing nothing. You just watching no TV.
Come open the door.
Ain't he wash your balls?
Right. Oh, hold on. Okay.
I got pee on him.
Nigga, right. Fucking in the roof, tripping on shit. Trying to get that fix in the door.
And her homegirl in the car now beating.
Right, nigga, he there. Right.
Fucking girl, come on.
Get your ass in the door. What the fuck?
I'd have been the drunk girl in the car and out of the car. I'd have been the one in the backseat like, bitch, let's go.
Right.
He ain't coming.
Soon as that door open up. All right, go on, y'all. See y'all later.
Right.
Whole time you're in the back hey, they get
Right.
so good.
Right.
You still on the phone.
Carol, come on, he ain't there. Right.
You checking your phone like, shit,
Fuck you.
Kelly ain't there.
Right. Right. He ain't right.
Now you going home by yourself.
Right.
I'm bad as shit.
Cussing his ass out.
The next day you still mad.
Next day he hit you like, damn, I miss your call, what was up?
No, I was great. I was trying to fuck. Bye.
Right. Right. Boy, I hate him this call, boy. Jesus, please.
Especially when it's more than one. Like, oh, you gonna call me three times?
Right. This is my
Damn,
whole
she
call.
wanted to eat.
No, yeah.
Sure did.
Got it, do it. I missed that motherfucking call.
Now you gotta take her breakfast.
Right. What you going?
Get
What
some
you
mimosas.
gonna be doing tomorrow? You hungry? Yeah, I can eat.
Let's go down Miss Shirley's.
Alright.
That's the famous line right there. You hungry?
Right,
I can eat.
right.
That's how you do it. You gotta take school.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't give a fuck right now. I mean, it is what it is.
Really, that's it. Give
Hey, yo! Fucking talking stripes on the ass, calling me Tigger.
Yeah.
Yes, baby girl. Hey, baby girl.
When did that other one get out of there? What's JT?
They make it like she been in there forever.
Nah, she just turned herself in last year.
Right.
Because she a scammer.
That old scamming asshole.
Yup. Real ass bitch. No, you ain't real ass.
Right.
You a scamming.
Let me see what she's doing this time.
Oh, JT on the way?
No.
I think she's supposed to come out soon, though.
I think she's supposed to come out this year.
Free JT!
No, you don't free nobody that
Free
didn't fucking work.
JT!
Boo. Whatever.
Yo,
Whole time she got your soul.
why is Johnny Why is y'all in the video? This nigga wrote the song. He must be in the video now, huh?
Yo, it's crazy.
Got a video?
Huh? Yeah, this came out like last night.
Which one?
Act up when you get smacked up.
I can't listen to them.
I just listen to it on the radio.
When it first came out.
But now that song is like, what the fuck? Like a man wrote this song. Like,
Make you feel some type of way.
It
Right.
does.
I think we broke that here on the shop.
we did break that here.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah,
boy
yeah,
with the
yeah.
red hair?
Yeah, you know.
I don't be knowing these children's names. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see the one that's been beating people up? The baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, you
the
see.
baby is
He
good.
spit on somebody in this last show. They threw $1 at him. He got mad.
I
Hulk
saw
spit
that.
on him.
Oh, my God.
So he canceled.
Yeah, the baby is
Canceled.
He is canceled. You spit on somebody who canceled.
He ain't gonna be around long.
Hell no. He was knocking people out.
Yeah, he ain't
I mean, he been doing that for a while.
Yeah, but you're not spitting. That's real
Yes.
disrespect.
Yes.
You gotta hate
he
somebody
ain't
and Hulk
gonna be
spit on him.
around long.
Like he rolled that shit up in his mouth and then launched it.
That's
Right.
disgusting. I don't like to see anybody spit actually.
Yeah, that ass would have been.
Did y'all see the squeaky boy?
Be the fat guy.
Yeah. Them two grown men was out there. I guess that was President Street. They was ready to fight them. Yeah, they was ready to fight them. And next thing you know,
They
them
beat them.
squeegees was coming over the head. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And one dude grabbed the boy, and next thing he was on the ground.
Yeah.
And the light-skinned boy came, and next thing he was on the ground. They was wearing them big niggas out.
I mean, I think it was old.
They're them old heads. They whooped their ass.
They should let them young shit the fuck alone.
A bunch of high schoolers fighting.
No, some old heads to get with you.
But I mean, those was regular
Not
facts.
them. Yeah, they was definitely regular fat.
What was going on down in Harbor on Saturday? With all them teenagers in the cops?
They was just doing what they do.
That's
Oh,
shit.
right.
Oh,
Being bad and
being
shit.
disrespectful.
But what happened? I heard they just tried to rob some dirt bike shop in Pennsylvania, and they fucked up the
Oh yeah, that happened the other day.
yeah.
They robbed the truck with all the dirt bikes in it and then ran into one of the state troopers.
Yeah.
They got two of the boys, but one of them is still
The driver is that large.
right. He went back to Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Do you think it's because the kids don't have nothing to do in the summertime in the community events or activities?
Yep. But I feel like these squeegee kids. I mean, they got some squeegee grown men too, but these
What
squeegee
squeaky
kids.
old man?
Right.
You should be a grown man doing squeakies.
Yeah, the squeegee crew, I think that they have to get out of hand. Like on President Street, I be seeing them, like, especially with them white folks, oh, they fucks with them terrible. Like, they will, like, spray their window extra if they tell them no, and, man, I've seen
They
these boys.
do a little hearts when you went
Right, oh, yeah, they do that too. They lick up on your window. They do a lot of shit like this to fuck with people. So, I think they are very much out of hand, and I think that this is going to be
It's funny that's an issue.
fucked up summer.
It is though. You can't pull up nowhere without everybody running to your phone.
Last weekend on President Street, it was like, no, it was on Monday, the holiday. It was like, whoa, it's like, where the fuck all y'all came from right here?
Right, and you can see like, no.
Right. But now they coming from over here, so they come from the back.
Right.
Get the fuck around here, what the fuck is you doing? I'm saying, big homie, can I get, fuck you, get away. Oh, all right then. Oh, fuck around. Fuck that, yeah.
I got fluid.
Right.
I watched my own goddamn.
I don't know what the hell you got that goddamn thing.
I was on North Avenue and Hilton.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like 25 of them on that little median.
They got a little-
One fat guy was out there calling the shots. I said, "What you, the supervisor?" And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah, I got
Fortune 500 cook.
Yeah, you gotta have a supervisor. But what I tell you is this, right? If they put their minds together in every, like on every section, north, south, east, west, they all get a car wash, they'll make out better. They'll make out better than that squeezy shit. Like, how the fuck is you washing windows in the rain? Yo, it's just raining. Get the fuck out of here. Like, it's raining. Fuck away from my car. I'm saying, big homie. Fuck out of here. Ain't no squeegee today.
Then they get mad when you cut the windshield wipers on.
Yeah, boy.
You almost broke my fucking thing.
Oh, you stole it.
Hell yeah, you stole that shit from the gas station.
No gas station got squeegees no more.
No, y'all got it wrong.
motherfuckers was off the
Like
shack.
the windshield wiper
Yo,
right over.
the fucking, the panhandlers got squeegees in there.
Oh, God.
These motherfuckers say, God, you got a panhandler, the squad, the squeegee boy, and the fucking Muslim.
With the big pies.
These motherfuckers,
You
boy.
get hit up all
Yeah. Get your car washed,
Big
get a
pie.
beef pie, and then you donate a little bit of money too.
Yeah.
Off of one block. Damn.
So I don't be in the city like that often, and obviously my kids don't because I'm their chauffeur. So we was leaving Aaron's Botillion. It was at the Marriott on the waterfront. So we was turning on whatever that street is. And it was like 10 boys right
Yeah,
like
what they
had
did.
their thing. And so I had my younger son with me. He was like,
President Frank.
Mom, what are they doing? I said, oh, they want to clean the windshield. He was like, well, we're going to let them know. No. And he was like, my mom, I don't have any money. No, sweetheart. I'm good. Thank you. Come on, like, fucking turn.
Right.
Every time I
You
just
be trying not to make eye contact.
Yeah.
You be like, act like you on the phone.
Yeah. I be stopping
But
waiting for the
that's
light.
like, hey, Miss Lady. No, baby, I'm good.
I'm like, I'll do it for free.
Right.
I'll do it for free.
Right, I'm gonna do it for you this one time. Well, sir, you only did one time. You the passenger.
Right. And they got
Right. He's like, man, fuck it. The light's green.
boom. You hold up friends.
I be stopping waiting for the light sometimes.
Yeah, no boy. They be over at the block.
There be a group of them. I'm like, damn, boy, yeah, you see what I'm doing? As soon as that light turns,
I do that on Dover Howard. I be way up the street.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even going
oh,
up it.
damn.
So
Yo,
on Dover
baby.
Howard, it's
Yeah.
a real aggressive gay girl that be down there with the squeeze. And she be so mad when you tell her no. Like, you gonna beat me up and
Right.
shit.
Because I don't want you to clean my window. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, baby girl.
They always put little hearts on my window. Like, it's still dirty.
What shit on my car? Get the fuck around here.
Little squeegee with the
Yeah.
big hole in it.
Hey, big on. Can I? No! I'm just saying. One time I went up did a little trick, like a little move, a little dance. I'm like, oh, you got that. Here you go. Fuck around. All right, y'all. It's the night. The night is the night. The show is over. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in again. We'll see y'all next week. No, I'm gonna work this week. Love y'all.
Squeegee game.
Don't nobody else
Squeegee
stop
game.
working the window?
Wash that leg.
Don't fall asleep when you get that call.
Yeah. Don't fall asleep. You get that call, y'all. Hello, man.
Oh, hold on, I gotta end it. All right, so, ladies and
So we
gentlemen. Yeah.
Oh, we still alive. Are we?
No, I'm just gonna be on.
Oh.
So I sent the email to Tia. She never responded. India, I'm gonna let you handle her. Because
That's not gonna go good.
that's
Feel like fuck
fine.
that show.
I'm not gonna go back and forth.
Right.
It's not going. I'll try.
So here's the thing. We have to make a payment tomorrow. Do we want to continue with the weekly $14, or do we want to pay for June since the email said that we would stay until the end of June if they didn't find a new location?
That one might play slick.
So then everybody has to have their $14 before 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's what time we're supposed to pay so that I don't get that text message in the morning.
Why wasn't I supposed to watching our show? I feel a certain way.
Right.
I really did. Because when all of us have been